Hello, I'm Amaia. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm reacting to the Summer and Pretty Season 3, Episode 3. So just so you know, there are spoilers from this season, only up until Episode 3. So if you haven't watched it and you do not want spoilers, then maybe this video isn't right for you just yet, but make sure you come back later on to watch it. Before we get started, let me give you a brief little explanation of how this video kind of works. First up, there's a small quiz where you get to see my reactions and guess what my reactions are for. I respond to all of my comments, so make sure you comment them below. Right after, there's a bit of an annoyance compilation, except that this video is actually quite small, which I'll definitely talk about. And lastly, a big explanation on everything that I thought, my opinions throughout it, and just a big debrief on this episode because a lot has happened. So without any more rambling, let's get to it. So here's a quiz. I hope you enjoy. Seriously? Seriously? Damn. I like her. I like her. Ah! No. Poor Connie. Things are awkward. Oh my god. Okay. Yep. She's so delusional. Oh my god. Stand your ground. Oh my god. Make sure you do any last guessing right now, because here is a juicy part of the episode where I actually talk about it. There's a small little compilation of my annoyances, so here it kind of is. Ugh. Ew. Ew. I'm actually really surprised looking back at all of this footage that it's like nothing. Like usually it's like really, really long to the point where I have to like cut it to make it shorter and not like annoying. But it's just like nothing in this episode. And I think it's just because it was a lot of big moments happening where my reactions were like kind of like interesting and stuff, so that I wanted to add those into the quiz. And apart from that, it was like, I felt like there wasn't as much Jeremiah moments, so I wasn't as annoyed. First up, I feel like it's very necessary to bring up the ring. That's the ring you pull out? I've got bigger rings than that, and I'm not engaged. I know when it came out, everyone was like, it's so tiny, like this is so stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then other people were like, well, it's not about the ring, like it's not about that. And you know what? I do agree. I don't think it's necessarily like about the ring. I don't think that's an important thing. I think it's just like the whole situation just felt so like childlike and not mature at all. Like it just felt like they weren't doing it for the right reasons. I feel like for me at this moment, it kind of just feels like Jeremiah was kind of just like, oh, well, I just cheated, so let me try and like fix it by like, proposing. This way she won't leave me, you know? And it's like really stupid and like not okay to do either. Like, just not a good look on him. I feel like the ring kind of just goes along with the whole like proposal where he didn't really do anything. Like, he kind of just like begged for her forgiveness and was just like, so you want to marry me? It just makes it a little bit more like, But again, I kind of explained it in the last video for episode 2. I kind of mentioned it saying how I don't think it's necessarily about like the way that he proposed itself, because like I think it's fine to do proposals like that. Like I don't think it's an issue necessarily. Like I think it depends on the relationship that you have and what you two like and don't like. Except that I don't think any of it felt like Belly. I don't think it was anything that she would have liked. And going with that, we're transitioning into what Susannah would have liked, because in this entire episode and throughout the past episodes, they keep on saying, oh, it's what Susannah would have wanted. It's what Susannah would have liked. Is it though? Let's take a little deep dive. I truly believe that Susannah was always Team Conrad. I don't think everyone agrees with that. I'm not super sure, but I do believe that Susannah was Team Conrad, because she literally talked to him like when she was like not healthy anymore, telling him that he had to like keep Belly and to take care of her and stuff, and like that she was really happy and that she like always imagined that. So first off, I don't think she would have liked Jeremiah marrying her, but also Susannah had gotten cheated on by Adam, and if she knew that her own son put Belly through that, I think she would have lost her mind. Literally, we see this in like season 1, right? Where she doesn't even invite Adam to come for like the 4th of July because he cheated on her multiple times and she was over it and she didn't want that to be like the last memories of life that she had. I think she would have low-key disowned Jeremiah if she found out that he had done that to Belly. That's what I think. Like, I'm trying not to like mix other episodes, because at this current moment I've watched more. I'm trying to like give comments just on this one episode. It's obviously not what she would have wanted. Not only because I truly do believe that she was Team Conrad, but because I don't think she would have wanted them to jump to any conclusions at such a young age. I think she would have wanted both of them to discover themselves, kind of like Laurel is trying to get them, like what she's trying to get them to do, to just like discover themselves and take some time and find other people and make other friends and have like others different types of like friendships and relationships outside of like what they've always known. Because obviously, if you know like this guy for so many years of your life, you're probably going to think that he's pretty damn great, but maybe he's not. But also, I'm saying this, and if it had been Conrad to begin with, I would have been like, yes, do it, get married. But also, she is really young, and I don't think she's mature enough to go through that big of a life change. So before we continue with Belly and Jeremiah, let's jump to a couple other topics that I want to cover. First up is Lucinda's, how do you even, Taylor's mom's salon, okay? In an attempt to try and get Taylor and Steven to like talk a bit, she asked Steven to do all her paperwork. I love Taylor's mom because she's like I don't know, she's such an interesting character. I don't think a lot of moms on TV are portrayed like that, but that is a reality for a lot of people, to have moms that kind of like blur different types of like parts of their relationship. Like they blur kind of the separation between mother and daughter and like think of it as more of like a friendship. Like their relationship is very like friendship based almost. Like you see them and you think that they're like very friend like, but they also still have that same sort of like mother daughter thing. Like they remind me a lot of like Gilmore Girls, like Lorelai and Rory, where they're like obviously mother and daughter, but because she had her at such a young age, they kind of grew up almost as friends with just like a big age gap for friends. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's kind of like the relationship, and it's really interesting to see that. And that's kind of to the extent that my thought goes, because that's kind of it. Let's talk about the memorial. I have to agree that the speech that Jeremiah gave was really beautiful. I don't like him, but that was a beautiful speech. I do have to give him that. And I do think the entire thing, the entire memorial, and being there at like a garden, I think it would have been such a Susannah thing. Like I think she would have loved it, like he said. And it was very, very sweet. Like I really enjoyed it. But also I don't like Jeremiah, so I don't want to give him too much praise because that could go into his brain and I don't know, to his ego. He already has enough of that. So, but then I didn't like how they were literally at a memorial. It was Susannah's whole thing. And then Jeremiah and Belly are just like, what flowers should we get for our wedding? And it's like, you're celebrating your mom right now. Should you really be thinking about what flowers you're gonna get for your wedding? Okay. Yeah, so I thought that was a little odd. And then I liked that Conrad came in, but also I'm kind of looking a little confused because he came in right after and then he was like, that was such a wonderful speech. He wasn't even there for the speech though, was he? Was he? Let's talk about, have you been, lil sis? Because Adam freaking goes, oh, he's been missing his little sister. Adam, do you even know what's happening with your children? I don't think you can say that they're siblings. I don't think that should be allowed. I don't think, no, just no. He seems like the type of dad that actually has no idea what's going on. Like, I don't even, do you think that Adam knows that they dated at some point? Or do you think he just like never knew? Little thought of the day. I feel like for this episode, they're kind of just like scattered thoughts because I did watch it a long time ago. So this might be a little bit shorter and less interesting than all the other episodes. I almost jumped into the reaction just now. Before we jump to that, let's talk about the prices of the food. I know a lot of people were talking about it. It took me a second to like really see it. I had to like go back to check it. That surf and turf is expensive. It's so important because they literally showed it. Like if they hadn't shown the prices, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Like it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they showed the prices and that Adam and Jeremiah both picked the highest priced ones. And Adam is an ass, which means that Jeremiah isn't too far off from being exactly like Adam. If it wasn't important, it wouldn't have been shown. Whew. That surf and turf was like over $70. And the whole thing was, if you don't know why people were mad about this and why it's such a frustrating scene, it's because Laurel says that it's on her, it's her treat, and she's going to pay for it. And then Adam goes, oh, well, in that case, let me take the surf and turf. That's like one of the most expensive meals. And then Jeremiah does the exact same. And it just feels very like following your father's footsteps. And not only do we see this through this dish, that sounds like a little silly to say, but there's so many different scenarios where they're literally the exact same. Obviously with the cheating, this dish, and well, up until now, him literally being an intern in his dad's company, which already shows that he's literally following his footsteps one by one, he's going to be like Adam 2.0. There's a couple more later on in the episodes, so you'll have to stay with me for the entire season while I explain it, because I know there's more, but I'm not mentioning them right now. Lastly, I think we can finally talk about that ending, because it's a little crazy. So she announces that they're getting married out of anger because Adam wasn't saying anything nice about Jeremiah, which also, let me just add, was a little crazy of him. He's like praising Conrad, saying that he's just so selfless and so amazing. And then he gets to Jeremiah and he goes like, to our super senior. Like, okay, don't be mean. But also, it is Jeremiah's fault for not reading an email. Belly was going to wait until her dad was there, until like they were all gathered together to announce it. They were going to go to Conrad beforehand to let him know, and they didn't do any of that because she got mad and she told everyone, which already I feel shows her maturity if she can't hold it in out of anger. Like, she can't control her own emotions, not even to like hold in something that they were already planning on announcing in a different way. I just feel like that's a really big sign that this isn't good for them. She tells everyone this, and Laurel laughs, and she thinks that she's joking, and then she realizes that she's not, and she's like, what are you, you're joking. No, you're not getting married. And she's like, yeah, I am. And then Steven is like, okay, yeah, okay, good joke. And she's like, it's not a joke, Steven. It doesn't fully go like that, but you get the point. She kind of gets really defensive, and like there's a whole situation there, and Laurel cancels the dinner and everything. And I'm just like, probably not the right reaction that you should have to that either, because she is still your daughter and you should still be supporting her. And I'm sure there's definitely different ways to cope with it. But am I on Laurel's side? Yes, I am, because I don't like Jeremiah. And I think in the next episodes, she'll probably end up talking a little bit more on why she feels so deeply about this. I don't think it's fully explained just yet. At this point on, I was definitely thinking it was just like they were too young. You know, Belly's still in school. Obviously, Jeremiah has shown that he isn't the most mature out there. He doesn't care too much about his future if he's not realizing all of these things for like just graduation, you know? Like if you don't know what's going on with your classes, then maybe you're not mature enough to get married. And I think a really big part is also the fact that Susannah isn't there to help with anything. And I think she feels quite helpless without her. And I think she's also really sad to be watching all of them grow without Susannah by her side. And I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit more of that, or like her talk a little bit on that entire topic, just because yes, they did show grief over Susannah, but I don't think they've shown like the long-term sort of stuff. I feel like they focused a lot when it just happened and not now, you know, like she's still not there. I feel like that's kind of it for that. Going with Conrad, I just say that I loved the ending, how Conrad kind of just sat there, almost as if he was expecting something to not really happen, like as if he could like go back in time and like make it not happen. And then he kind of like walks out of the restaurant when they're like all gone and he's just like stuck there alone. I mentioned in this clip that I really wish they would have used the Taylor Swift song. Oh my god! Period on Laurel for doing that. Oh my god! This is crazy. This is insane. I don't want Conrad to end up with her at this point. Right now, I just don't like her. I feel like she's too like gullible and she believes everything that people tell her. And she doesn't like have her own opinions and like believe in herself, if that makes sense, when like she should be doing that, and she shouldn't just like believe or feel the same way that Jeremiah does about everything, you know? Like, I feel like she's not her own person. I'm so sad for Conrad. I love the little end where like Well, I didn't love it, you know, it's sad. Conrad is kind of just like stuck there, and like it's the song on top of everything, and like just, ugh, it was so good. I think the song really fit, but I was also thinking the Taylor Swift song, Right Where You Left Me from Evermore. Like, think of it. I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light. They say what a sad sight. I swear you could hear a hairpin drop. Like, imagine the scene, instead of him like walking out, it goes like back into the restaurant and he's just there like sitting, watching like everybody move around. Like, oh my god, that would have been like a killer scene. You can't tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me otherwise. It would have like fit perfectly. And it goes so well with the entire thing of the Summer Turned Pretty and like Taylor Swift, you know? You cannot tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me otherwise. It would have been amazing. That's kind of it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go check out all of my other videos related to the Summer Turned Pretty. Thank you for watching. Stay shining. See you in the next one.